reader. It's actually from the book Journey for Justice, The Life of Larry Itliong. And here they are.
Journey for Justice, The Life of Larry Itliong. Written by Don B. Magalon with Guerra Ramasanta. Modesto July Itliong was born on October 23, 1913, to Francisca and Artemio Itliong. Modesto, who was given the nickname Larry, was born in the Philippines. Larry's parents were poor farmers who had little education. There wasn't even a high school in the village. Larry only attended school until the 6th grade. In school, Larry learned about abogados or lawyers who help people with their problems. He imagined himself debating with others and helping poor people. I want to be like that. When Larry was 15, he decided he was going to make his dreams come true. He told his father he was going to the United States.
Why do you want to go to America?
Larry's father asked. I want to go to school. But his father did not want him to leave.
You don't have my permission to go.
But Larry was stubborn, and he had made up his mind. I'm going anyway. I will find the money to get there. My dream is to go to America. Larry said his goodbyes to his family and friends. He boarded the steamship Empress of Asia with hundreds of other young Filipinas and Filipinos. At age 15, he was the youngest passenger on the entire ship. After 22 days, Larry landed in Seattle, Washington. He saw hundreds of Filipinos in stylish suits hanging out on the sidewalks and talking loudly in many Filipino languages and in English. One of the older men showed Larry his rough, calloused hands.
We harvest grapes, onions, tomatoes, asparagus, potatoes, peaches, lettuce, celery, and more. The work is so hard and my back always hurts. I attended the University of Washington and studied to become a lawyer, but I had to quit to earn money. We all work in canneries, restaurants, or as house cleaners or servants. If you have brown skin, you can't get any other kind of job.
Larry felt like he was punched in the gut. This is life in America? After 2 weeks in Seattle, Larry harvested sugar beets in Montana. He worked with no breaks, toilets, or clean drinking water. He sometimes worked 12 hours or more a day and had no days off.
When Larry worked for Fried Lettuce Farm, the Filipino workers demanded a 5-cent raise. Until they got it, they refused to work. They went on strike.
A strike is when all workers agree to stop working. Together they demanded a high wage and better working conditions. If the employer agrees to workers' demands, the strike ends and the workers return to work. After 3 weeks of the strike, the Fried Lettuce Farm gave the white workers a 10-cent raise. The Filipinos did not receive a raise. We only asked for 5 cents. This experience taught Larry an important lesson. All workers had to be unified in their fight for justice. After the lettuce strike, Larry went to Alaska to work in the salmon canneries with thousands of other Filipino and Asian immigrant workers. I've never seen so many fish in my life.
Larry and the cannery workers worked 23 hours a day with only 1 hour of sleep. He saw that the white bosses ate steaks and pork chops, while Filipino workers received seaweed, rice, and 1 small piece of salmon.
I quit. He walked 3 miles to the nearest town. The foreman caught up to Larry.
Boy, they want you to come back. They'll give you what you want. If you want pork chop, they'll give you pork chop.
No, no, no. If I get pork chops, everyone will get pork chops. If I'm the one who can only eat them, I won't eat it.
Larry went back to the cannery and climbed on a chair.
My fellow workers, we are working and starving like dogs to make the cannery owners rich. We deserve to eat well. Isn't this the land of equality and justice? When the summer ended, Larry went to California. He canned sardines in San Pedro, harvested lettuce in Salinas, cut and packed asparagus near Stockton, and returned to Alaska to work in the canneries.
He was working so hard to survive that he forgot about college. Through all of this, Larry was learning important lessons.
Workers had a right to form a union, to be treated fairly, and paid a living wage. In a union, the workers can form an organization whose members stand together and agree on demands about their pay and working conditions. He witnessed racism, segregation, or separation of people. Larry's heart ached with sadness and anger at so much injustice all around him. Filipinos could not become citizens, nor could they vote or own land. They were being treated like criminals in a land that they had once been taught was the greatest country on earth. Larry had a decision to make. He wanted to be a labor organizer, someone who inspired his fellow workers to join together into a union that fights for their rights. He learned about the Agricultural Workers Organizing Committee, AWOC.
We've heard that everybody depends on you, Larry.
One of the union bosses told him.
You do a lot of good things for Filipinos.
Larry thought it over and agreed to join the union as an organizer. He soon met other union organizers, Dolores Huerta, Gilbert Padilla, and Cesar Chavez. He then moved to Delano, California to lead the Filipino grape workers.
Larry invited hundreds of AWOC members and all the growers to meet at the Filipino Hall in Delano to negotiate wages, but the growers didn't show up.
Bob Armington, a leader in the community, raised his hand.
I move that we vote to go on strike.
The crowd went silent. Larry called out, I want those in favor to stand up with your hand raised. Everyone stood up and raised their right hand in the air. It was unanimous. They were going on strike. The next day, September 8th, the Great Delano Grape Strike began. More than 2,000 members of AWOC walked up the grape vineyards, leaving the grapes hanging on the vine and yelling, Wamba! Strike! Their demand was simple, $1.40 per hour, 25 cents a box, and the right to form a union. The workers walked around the vineyards across Delano and shouting and holding signs. Larry knew that justice for farm workers could be realized if the two biggest groups of farm workers, Filipinos and Mexicans, could unite. He knew that if the two communities stood together in unity, also called solidarity, they would be even stronger.
Larry went to see Cesar Chavez. In Delano, Cesar, Gilbert Padilla, and Dolores Huerta were building the National Farm Workers Association, NFWA. Larry asked Cesar to join the Filipinos on strike. The next year, the two unions became one. They formed the United Farm Workers, also known as the UFW. They picketed, they protested, they even persuaded grocery stores to stop carrying grapes from Delano.
We are not asking too much. If other workers in America and all over the world can have unions, there is no reason why farm workers cannot organize themselves and bargain collectively with the growers for what is fair and just and decent. In the 5 long years of the grape strike and boycott, millions of people across the nation donated money, food, and clothing to the UFW. They began to care about farm workers. In 1970, more than 30 grape growers in Delano met with the UFW and agreed to a pay increase, a medical insurance plan, and control over certain pesticides.
This was a significant victory for the union and the workers. Farmers, union members, and the press gathered at the UFW headquarters, 40 acres to sign the contracts.
For his entire life, he